so appeal to your spirit guides to enter more readily into the activation field that you have created around you. For your auric field is essentially your sacred temple. And now you have gone to some lengths purifying and activating that space as a conduit between your cerebral conscious state, your cerebral thinking, and now transmuting or transferring your thoughts into a more subtle, sublime state where communication may occur on a mental telepathic level or on an sensory level between your dimension and this higher dimensional space. Your guides and your spiritual team have likewise affected a similar energy field from their dimensional reality to overlap and intersect with yours with varying degrees of strength and clarity. And this strength and clarity develops over time in accordance to your intentions and your efforts, and in accordance to past and previous work that you have done across lifetimes. Part of the reason for this is to reactivate human beings into their higher state of existence, into the conscious realization that each of you are essentially powerful, divine, spiritual, creator beings, albeit dwelling in a physical world. But even in the words of your own physicists, your Albert Einstein, who realized that even matter is merely concentrated energy, and all energy as such is interrelated with source and interrelated with your own consciousness. Your consciousness is a very powerful tool. But what is required here is a clearing and an opening of the passage from your physical world, physical body density consciousness to that of your higher self, where the mental plane and thoughts and consciousness work in a very different state and in a different way. Through your pathway of esoteric or spiritual development, you are essentially reactivating and rebuilding pathways between your physical world and the source world, so that in effect you can weave and use source substance and draw it into your physical world for you to create with. There are some parameters around how you do this, but to put it simply, is for you to work in alignment with divine cosmic law. And as you could guess or imagine, that such a thing is for you to be aligned with divine purpose, for you to resonate with source, for you to resonate with your own higher self and the purpose of your existence in a physical dimension. That purpose is somewhat different for each of you, for each of you are at slightly different stages of your earthly soul development. And each, let's say, micro step in that development requires a different focus or a different purpose in each lifetime. And even then, that focus may be conditional upon the actions and the reactions of what you have lived through in steps leading up to this present moment on your linear time. When you leave your body, which can be during your meditation states, during your sleep states, and of course at the end of your physical life, you can withdraw from this linear timeline and live in a more virtual time space where all things are present, all things are accessible, and your experiences await like a banquet or a feast for you to revisit and for you to nurture and nourish yourself in ways of wisdom and soul growth. As you activate these fields through your spiritual development, you will find ways to activate and to acknowledge and grow from the experiential nourishment that your life presents you for your soul. And you ideally should differentiate between obtaining material rewards in your world, which is all fair enough, but also being very discerning as to the soul experiences and the soul growth that would ideally suit your progression during your time in earth density. Again, this pathway or process or journey is different for each of you if you are all calibrated in a different way. So approach your life as you approach your life in what is the best for your soul development right here, right now, or with the situation that presents itself tomorrow, today, or is already with you, that you may activate and apply your higher soul wisdom and experience to it. And if such situations appear to you as blockages or as major problems, and so forth, the more readily that you extract the wisdom from them, the more essentially you have disintegrated them. You have drawn all the energy from that what appears to be a blockage and transmuted it into soul substance, soul nourishment. And as such, you have diluted the blockage and you may more readily pass through it. That is one of the keys to where some of you are at in your lives right now. Extract the wisdom and the learning from situations that have been placed before you that may appear as a challenge or a blockage, and you may essentially diffuse them and de-energize them as you take the positive energy from them and return the negative back into the quantum field. Just as you exhale carbon dioxide and return it to the plant kingdom for its nourishment, you are doing the same for the quantum field of Earth. You live in a cosmic quantum field, and we all play a balanced part within what you may consider to be a spiritual ecosystem. And so it is, for all is connected, all is of source. And if you wish to push the frequencies of this quantum field, say, into a place of ecstasy, there is a similar kind of movement in the energy field across creation to very micro levels. Just as if you dropped a stone into the ocean, you are changing the volume of the ocean. Hence, you have a similar effect, albeit to a very small degree in the cosmic field of existence. But then you may place your planet and all of humanity, or a significant portion of humans on Earth, and take them through various journeys, whether it be a journey of war on Earth or political unrest on Earth, through earthquakes or bushfires or other events, good, bad, indifferent. You can imagine this ebbing and flowing, this breathing in, this breathing out of the quantum field of humanity within the quantum field of the source realm itself. Finding your place of relative harmony and balance within this is key, and your consciousness and your balance itself can have quite a significant healing effect, particularly on the energy fields of those who are around you. And when I say around you, I do not necessarily mean around you physically, but also around you mentally and emotionally, in which case distance is not a factor. As you think, so it is. As you feel, so it is. And distance on that plane does not exist, for they are higher dimensional states of being, higher dimensional states of energy, non-physical. I would like you now to imagine that your soul in an expansive state. Imagine that your soul is expanding right beyond the confines of the walls in which you sit, that they shine or reverberate into higher dimensional space. It could be symbolized by floating into the atmosphere and above your earth. But you may be able to do it within yourself, that your energy field is expanding and diluting into vast distances, though it will be called back shortly. You're aware of any changes in the energy field or pictures or colors around. Now have the mind set, or the feeling set, that you are breathing in with the harmony of the quantum field of your existence. And now picture, if you wish, that you are traveling or floating towards a distant star or a planet, and that star or planet resonates with the frequency that would serve to attenuate your energy field at this point in time. It may be a combination of star energy that will allow you to just focus on star frequencies. Allow yourself to be drawn to an interstellar place, to absorb the equivalent of starlight or its sunlight, whether it's a blue star, red, golden, white, with different energy configurations to your own sun and to your own solar plexus. Allowing that energy field to integrate with yours in any way that it can. From your own solar plexus, imagine your own solar plexus expanding back into the quantum field, the astral field, like it's plugging back in, and then draw it with your breath back into yourself. Exhale it back out into the astral world. From these distant places, imagine that we are beginning to contract ourselves back towards our dimension of Earth. We're Slowly just breathing and calling our astral body, our soul back from distant places, calling ourselves back into our temple of light, into our sacred temple. And the light is densifying back into our room. For someone, it's almost like there is a jewel or a crystal with light that's being offered into your hand as like an energetic transfer. To just accept and or be aware of anything that's been brought to you. Just as human beings do this exercise where you may picture a ball of light in the palm of your hands and focus upon it, then draw your hands apart and together and be aware of that energy field. So it is with some of your guides. From time to time, they concentrate and develop essentially an energy activation ball, which may appear to you as crystal light or as some other glowing object, and then place it into your auric field energetically for it to have some kind of an activation effect. The effect depends upon the person's the recipient's needs. Sometimes it may manifest as an idea. Sometimes it may manifest as a change of heart. Sometimes it may manifest as a change in the perspective in which you may see things and open up another portal of perception, as if you may see things from another angle, from a different place, and therefore gain a deeper understanding of an issue from its every aspect, 360 degrees, and maybe even fourth and fifth dimensionally degrees. And as a human being in a physical existence, in part, you are able to observe and be present with more spiritual activity and existence than those of us who are confined more so to the fifth dimensional planes. You may feel, you may touch, you may enjoy things in a different way. You may sense things in a vastly different way to a spirit that is disembodied or belongs to other realms. What I am inherently saying here to you, as to whatever these experiences are that you are taking into your consciousness, for you to value them, for you to learn to understand them, it is not designed that every experience in your existence is a positive one in terms that makes you feel good. For the ones that can bring you down, or we want you to experience, and your soul itself and your being itself wishes to experience existence in all of its colors, in all of its frequencies, to varying degrees according to what will serve you on your broader pathway and what will serve you according to your chosen preference. And there are preferences that you have made, for example, as to where your body, where your soul will incarnate in this lifetime. There are souls that have chosen to incarnate in other places for varying reasons. One of those reasons may be for highly evolved spiritual beings to be tested on the question of, are you spiritual or are you physical? And what is the eternal nature of the human soul and human consciousness? And so there are beings that may choose to incarnate into such circumstances as a test or as a stepping point in their evolution of connection between soul and spirit, regardless of physicality. And you may extrapolate this reasoning into more perhaps serious circumstances in your world to understand how that may manifest in human life. We have given you examples before of how even in your human world, in your arenas of professional fighting as such, where one soul or one being willingly pits themselves into a battle arena, where they may on one level appear to suffer various pain and afflict others. But the question is, what is occurring on a soul level for the development of such beings to experience such, let's say, discomfort, or to apply such focus of mind over matter? So there are other secrets and other dimensions into what sometimes appear to be cerebrally mindless exercises in your earth. But there are some that have other dimensional purposes. What we are perhaps saying here is be wary of judging the souls that do things that perhaps you and I do not understand. Accept, trust, but be discerning and live your truth. Many blessings to each of you, my friends.